Okay, it's 2:31. We're going to go ahead on and get started. Thanks for joining us on this segment of Tech Tuesday. I'm James Lewis, and welcome to another semester that's already here. It seems like time is just going on by. It is already August. It's going to be Christmas time soon. But as we get started on this new semester, we got a lot of new things that Do It wants to bring to your attention for the upcoming school year. And on today, we're going to start off this Tech Tuesday segment talking about the new Braves portal, which is really cool. I love it. And we have two presenters here that's going to show us around. They know it a whole lot better than I do. Mr. John Curry and Ms. Tammy Locklear. They are our business and technology applications analysts, and they're going to take over. And Mr. JD is and show us how things work on the portal and how to get around going and doing everything that we need to do. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to unmute your mic and chime in. Thanks again. JD?
You're muted.
I am muted. Man, I was talking this whole time. Okay, so hello everyone. My name is JD. I'm with the Enterprise Applications team along with Tammy, and we are the two primary admins who worked on developing and building the new Brave portal that we've been working on. Long term, our eventual goal is for the Brave portal to completely replace Brave Web, as well as to kind of bring in new applications that Brave Web either didn't have the functionality to handle, or were just kind of in kind of disparate pieces of the university. So we have started with our finance team. So predominantly, what you're going to see right now is mostly finance related content, but over the next several months and or possibly up to in the next year or so, in the next few years, we're going to be rolling out new content across pretty much the entire university. So first things first, this is when you log in to, and actually here I'm going to cheat just a little bit and Brave portal. BravePortal.uncp.edu is going to be the URL you're going to use to access this. If you're typing it in manually the first time, please make sure that you do the https://. That's going to be really important the first time you log in. After that, you're free to just do the regular bravesportal.uncp.edu, and it knows where it's going from there. But first time in, you got to make sure that it's got the HTTPS at the front. And it's going to redirect us to your individual homepage. There is actually, James, am I correct in assuming we're going to be showing the tutorial off? Like, do you have the tutorial that we did that you built in YouTube a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I can bring that up if you need me to.
Not right this second. I was just making sure that we kind of maybe linked that out to them after
Okay.
this so that they could be able to see those initial logon screens.
Okay.
That there are three screens that the very first time you log in, you will see that
Okay.
will come before you get here. And I just wanted to make you guys aware of that. James, if you don't mind just throwing down in the chat or something like that, the YouTube video. And if you guys want to go and watch that video, it'll explain each of those three screens and then actually review some of what we're going to be talking about in a second. So with that said, your individualized portal will usually come up with a couple of cards at the beginning, but maybe not necessarily as many as I have at the moment. It's going to default to the ones that we have set as administrators and said, hey, pretty much everybody university-wide is using these. That'll be the ones you have at the start, but there will be more that you can add that we'll talk about in just a second. On this site, what you've got is little cards, these little squares pretty much all over the entire environment that are essentially chunks of targeted information. So for this card right here, pretty much everything in this card is going to relate to items that foreign national employees or students would find useful. Or down here, payroll information. And we've grouped them in that way so that essentially you can kind of decide on an individualized basis what is important for you and what isn't. And the reason I say that is any card that is in your environment, if you decide that you don't want it to be there, you can click this little remove card banner and it will just pull it clean off the page. And you can also, if you decide that payroll resources is really important to you, move it wherever you want in the environment. So you can take any card, move it around, remove any card that you don't think is applicable to you. And then also in most cases, if you don't want to move it around manually, like I'm showing, or visually, like I'm showing right here, you can also click this little set of 3 dots and you can move it forward and backward via this option. So now that we've talked about what's on the home page, let's talk for a second about adding new content to the page. If you click the hamburger menu right over here in the top left and click Discover, this is going to bring you to a page of all of the cards to which you have access. There will eventually be a substantially larger number than we have at the moment, but what we've got right this second, you can kind of go through and manually look at and see what you want to grab, or you can go up here in the top left and say you want, we already talked about it once, so let's say we want to do payroll. This will bring everything that relates to payroll and let you add or remove it at your discretion. Again, same way that you did with remove, you can click this little banner and it will add it back to your page. Both of these are on my page right now, so let me find one that's not. General links, why not? So this general links I don't have on my home page right this second. I can click that and it will add, and it is now on my home page. Ta-da! And you can add and remove as many as you want. There's no limit to the number of cards as far as we've been made aware in the environment. So however many you think you want, you're free to have access to. With that said, we've also got a set of words, kind of key terms down here that you can use to search via. So if you don't know what keywords you want to enter, you can look along here and grab which ones you think would be applicable to you. So you could grab discounts if you wanted, or you could say, oh yeah, I use Argos a lot. Let's see what Argos. And you could add this applications. Trying to think. With that said, the next really kind of big important piece to know, especially in regards to cards, is as we're coming out with new cards, you guys are going to get notifications as new cards become available to which you've got access. So if you have a card or set of cards, you'll on this notifications, you'll have a little red dot that was there just a second ago. You can click on this and it will tell you what new card is now available and some information regarding that card. You'd then be able to go here into Discover, grab it, add it, do whatever you want with it. As far as navigation is concerned, if you want to go back to your home page, you can click Home here, or you can simply click the UNC Pembroke Braves portal, and it will bring you back to your home page. Let's see. With all of that said, the next kind of 2 big pieces that are worth taking a look at. First one is this card, or not quite a card, this announcement right here. These are announcements that are set by the admins in the environment. We're going to have a growing kind of group of admins who have the ability to set announcements. These cannot be removed or used by or altered by users, but these are ways for us as the university to kind of get information out to the employee and student base that we think are important. Tammy, right this second, actually just put one in today for the Braves kickoff to remind everybody that that's starting tomorrow and Wednesday, or tomorrow and Thursday, excuse me. And we can go here to get the live stream information once it's up tomorrow. Aside from that, the next item on the homepage that's important is this over here, the profile. If you click on that, it will take you to the BravePortal profile page that gives you some information on what we know about you based on information in Banner, what your gender and preferred pronouns are, if you've inserted preferred pronouns, email addresses, home address, and your school ID number, your Banner ID if you need it. This share usage data will be important as far as one of the 3 pages I talked about at the very beginning. One of those 3 pages talks about essentially your ability to opt in or out of tracking information, kind of broad scale user tracking to kind of get an idea from Ellucian's part what's being used, how it's being used, and how Ellucian can do their job better. You get an opportunity to either opt into that tracking or opt out of it. If you decide at any point you want to change which of those 2 groups you're in after you've set it initially, you just come right back here and alter that in the share usage data section. So with that said, there are 2 specific cards that I think are worth talking about for a second, and that's going to be this web links and to-do list. First of all, with this web links card, you have the individual or the ability as an individual to add links yourself that you think are important. So let's say you decide that Reuters, the Reuters news website, is important to you, and you want to save it to your page. Now it's saved. This will show up only for you and for nobody else, and it will take you, as one would expect, to the Reuters website. So, quick and simple way for you to decide additional content that might be useful to you that may not be stored anywhere else in the site. If later you decide it's no longer important to you, you're free to delete it. If it'll work. There we go. Delete. Next item, to-do list, works in a very similar way to the web links. The only idea being it's creating personal tasks for you to add for yourself. And so let's say schedule appointment for vet visit. And you want to be reminded by tomorrow, or be reminded tomorrow, that you need to be setting that up. It's going to now be here in your individual to-do list. You are going to see it and the reminder that you've got. It will pop up a reminder here on the home page once that time frame becomes applicable. And if you are done with it, you simply click it and it disappears. So those are 2 individual cards that are kind of worth pointing out because they function a little bit different from most everything else in the environment. Pretty much most everything else you're going to see here is either going to be links out to additional content, or in the case of some of them, let me actually show you one for which this applies, will be giving you information that we're getting from other sites. So this is giving information on the amount of vacation time I've got, sick and community service hours I've got available, and then we could go here to kind of act upon that information. So that's really essentially the overwhelming majority of what you're going to get on the portal is either links out to additional content or information we're pulling in from other sites that you can then go somewhere else to act on those actions or on those pieces. So with that said, that kind of walks through, I think, most of what we were hoping to cover quickly. And I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to kind of ask questions if there were any. So feel free to ask questions now.
Hey JD, I know you said this is like the first phase of it.
Yep.
What else is coming down the line? Potential cards that will be kind
So
of.
Tam, you're going to have to remind me kind of what we've got. I know financial aid was going to be coming up hopefully fairly
HR.
soon. HR was going to be another big one that we were going to be pulling out new content on soon. And then from there, we were probably going to really start kind of targeting student information and getting useful student links out sometime after that. We've really kind of focused on getting basic employee level information out for the time being, and are really kind of trying to pull the students in our next phase, hopefully.
And we're working on an identity management system so that we can
Yeah.
restrict it down to more role-based, just a little bit tighter
Yep.
role-based before we start the next phases.
Yeah, fantastic question. Thank you, James. That was actually really useful thing for me to kind of point out there.
Cool, no problem. I put the link also to the video showing those initial login links there
Okay,
in the
great.
chat session as well. And that videos can also be found on the Do It webpage as well.
Okay, good deal. Any other questions, anyone?
I have a question. How would you say I wanted to add a card or like wanted to create a card for the entire university, like related to student services or student emergency services, for example? How could I do that?
So at this point, basically your best bet for that is going to be to email either Tammy or myself and say, hey, I've got content that I think is going to be really useful. And we can take a look at what you're requesting and get with our project team, find out whether that's going to be something we can go ahead and handle now, or does it need to be something we need to group up with one of the expansion groups that we're going to be working on over the next several months. So if you want to email either Tammy or myself and just kind of let us know that you've got content you want to bring into the environment, we'll be happy to follow up with you on that.
I'll touch on that too. We're in the process of creating a service request in our ServiceNow system, and we're putting together a governance committee in regards to all that. And then we'll be phasing out and work with each area independently. But if you have a specific card in mind, until we get that service request, that would be the route to go.
Yeah. Anything else? It doesn't sound like it. So, James, is there anything you think, or Tammy, either one of you, that I didn't cover that you think would be pertinent, or is there anything else, or would you like to take back over?
I think you covered everything.
Yeah, I think it looks good on what you did. It was great. So this is a living app and a living project anyway, so it's going to be
Absolutely.
updated and continuing to grow even further as time goes on. So we may have to come back and do a part 2 later on.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and
thanks.
as we're developing, Illusion is actually steady making changes to the system as well. So it is a living system with them and us right now. Changes are
So both
constantly being made.
so both parties are kind of creating this as we go along, or is it, from what I'm hearing, or is it just you guys just adding content from the university? Are they adding stuff too, or?
We have a few custom cards that are
Okay.
being created by them. I can't remember what there's have to
Yeah,
do
I'm
with
trying to remember
budget
what we're working on right
information.
now.
It has to do with budget information, being able to pull up the funds and balances right on the card easier. But Illusion, I guess this is a pretty new platform to them as well, but they're steady putting updates out there, and I mean, the calendar wasn't out there when we started, and it is now, but that calendar that's there is an academic calendar, or institutional calendar. It's not it's not a person calendar.
Individualized.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not
Okay.
so we haven't put a institutional one out there yet, but that wasn't out there when we started. So those are the type of things we're seeing more functionality come as they update.
So is this more for the business side, administration side of this, or does academics say, like, if some group in mass comm or foreign language want to add a card, is this something they can do as well, or is this just
Yes,
reserved? Okay.
we
Yeah,
we hope to eventually roll this out to all universities. Well, it is rolled out to the whole university, but have it be university based. This is going to be their portal, and it's to link out to other systems and to pertinent information necessary for all the users.
yeah.
So yes.
So,
We hope
so
to roll
short
it out.
term, essentially the answer is we are focusing on employee content right this second, but we very much hope and are trying to kind of pull in as quickly as we can content that's going to apply to the entire university, everybody pretty much across the board.
Got you. That's some awesome stuff. You have any more questions? All right. Thanks again, everyone, for taking out your busy schedule. I know it's crazy busy to come hang out with us on this Tech Tuesday segment. And I want to remind you about next week. We got a really cool session next week called On Your Mark, Reset, and Go. It's really for those that needs to be informed on how to reset and recover your UNC password, along with other things. We got a special guest that's going to be here with us. Very informative session. So be sure to check that out next Tuesday at, if I'm not mistaken, 2:30 using this same WebEx link. Thank you so much again for joining us. If you have any questions or concerns about what we talked today, feel free to reach out to the help desk at 6260, and they'll direct it to whoever is responsible, and we'll be sure to get up with you as soon as we can to get you what you need. All right. Thank you so much. And everyone have a wonderful, wonderful and great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, JD.
Thanks, everybody.